What's up, everybody? YuGiOh 101. Azara here for another discussion video. Um, Let me just say this now so I can get it out the way. I'm still sick. I am a little under the weather, so just forgive me, because during the course of the video, I may have to blow my nose or what have you. So that's just something I need to just, say for I get started on the topic that I'm going to speak on. Um, what this discussion video is going to be on is basically something that's been plaguing you that's plagued the that has plagued the Yu-Gi-Oh community for years. You know, you have this group of elitists that, for whatever reason, feel like they hold every right to speak negatively on the new players that are coming in, but at the same time, being the experienced players that they claim to be, they refuse to share that information so that, you know, these new these inexperienced players won't be as naive as they are, or at the very least they'll, you can help them out with their little issues with knowing, like the basics in the game and such. These elitists are called pros, and you know that word, it rings, pretty much negativity, like just within the Yu-Gi-Oh community, because every time it's brought up with negativity, you know. And please excuse that little lighting right here. It's like every time you see a pro, it's it it pretty much claims to be this, like, this individual that has this know-it-all mentality, and if you so happen to beat this person, then you're all these things in the book. You're a scrub. You're uh, a sore loser. Like, you're all these things, but they're the only ones that are complaining because they lost. That's because those pros, quote unquote pros, those know-it-alls, 9 times out of 10 are people. Well, not even 9 times out of 10. I'm gonna say 100% of the time are people that they don't understand the game as well as they try to make themselves out to know. You feel me? Because these are the same people that will only play the popular decks, and that's all they play is the popular decks. And I've seen the quote unquote pros play these popular decks and do badly with them because they were expecting to win. For example, like when Six Samurais were all the rage, you know, all these pros and top tier deck users and such. That's all they were playing. That's all you seen at that point. It was either Six Samurais or that Twilight build. Because I believe around that time, the Black Luster Soldier Envoy of the beginning, had got limited, and that's pretty much all you seen was Six Samurais or Twilight, because that was the most popular thing at the time. And you have these people that will only play the popular what's popular at the time. And within that circumference of people, like within that group of people labeled under that category, you have the pros. They're right in there with them. you know and one thing I never understood about these pros is that, how can you try to talk down on somebody for not knowing the game, but when you claiming to know so much, like, you refuse to teach them. Like, for example, like myself, when I first came into the Yu-Gi-Oh community, like, I was introduced to it, like, by a video game. Like I started off, playing video games. Look like when it came to Yu-Gi-Oh, I didn't have any local, you know, areas to where I could go and like um, uh, play the card game. I didn't have anywhere I could go online at the time because I didn't have a computer. I didn't have a computer or what have you. So I got my start off, like in Yu-Gi-Oh, like with the video games. But once I became a part of, like the actual Yu-Gi-Oh community, like online, I like I can honestly say that I wasn't welcome with open arms. And this happens to be, like a lot of things, like I'm like with a lot of trading card games in particular, like Magic the Gathering or what have you. You're always going to have this group of people that for whatever reason feels like they don't like these people will claim they're so experienced in the game, but when they meet somebody that's inexperienced or don't know as much as they claim to know, then by you being an experienced player, it's your obligation to teach them. Because, see, like for those that think like um for those that think in a similar fashion that I do, you know, my whole thing with this game is to teach. I've been in this game for a long time. Like since it started in the United States, I've been playing this game, and I didn't have anybody to necessarily teach me per se. I had to learn everything, like the hard way. I've had my run in with pros who have lost to me only because like they were using builds that they thought were um, like that were going to autopilot for them, and like they didn't have to put as much thought in it, and then they would take that win or what have you, and they would like just brag about it like I had like you lost to this, like you lost, accept it, and I didn't even say anything. Like I didn't approach them with no negativity or what have you, and like it's like ridiculous. But yeah, like experienced players, it's our it's pretty much our job to teach the inexperienced players how to play this game. Duh. I've ran into Dueling Network, and I've ran into people, you know, in real life that did not understand the game at all, and nobody is willing to teach these inexperienced players or the new players coming in how to play the game properly. And as a result of that, you end up having people that think, you know, Solemn Warning can stop cards like Heavy Storm. I've spoken on that in past videos. I shouldn't have to elaborate on that anymore. But, you have people that think cards like Solemn Warning can stop MST. And I mean, like, you have people that think that tributing summoning, that tribute summoning, and normal summoning are two different things. And, as an experienced player that's been doing this for a long time, I can't help but to laugh at that. Not necessarily laughing at their naive, but more so laughing at the fact that, at who the ones that taught these people how to play this game, or did anybody teach them at all? You know what I mean? And it'd be the little things that they don't teach them, like how to read or like reading comprehension. You know, even though those are two like are the most basic things you can learn, those are two of the easiest things that end up getting overlooked. But I've made Yu-Gi-Oh! 101 tips videos and discussion videos, just just elaborating on how important those things are, because those are one of the cornerstones in learning this game. You have to read the cards. You have to read the rules. And these pros refuse to teach these new guys coming in that. But instead, like instead of teaching them how to play the game, they use them for easy wins and things like that. For example, on Dueling Network, I've purposely seen it to where somebody would claim, that they will help this person learn how to play the game or what have you, and what they would do is like they would take them to a section on their website to where like the wins and losses actually get counted, um, and like they would play, a deck that's pretty much known to win all the time, and they would give them this bullshit deck. You know what I mean? Or like something that they pretty much know that they can win against, and like they would just beat them and not teach them anything at all. Or in the process, like they don't really care to teach as much as they care, you know, or like just like just earning themselves another win. And it's sad to see that in this game. Uh, so for all of my new Yu-Gi-Oh players out there that may come across this video, and if you guys have any questions regarding Yu-Gi-Oh, and like you may be new, or like somebody that may be new, like just I don't know, just um refer them to this channel. Why don't you just um excuse me, man, my throat still kind of hurt a little bit, but yeah, like if you guys have any questions on like the game, or like whether you can do this, that, and the third, I've had people ask me, on other videos, is this allowed, in the game? Like when this card gets activated, am I still allowed to do this? And it'd be some basic things like, duh, of course you can, but they're new to the game and they don't know that. And the pros, they approach those people in such a negative way that it turns people away from the game. Yu-Gi-Oh is a good game. It really is. It's a good card game for those that want to get involved in it. For us that are involved in it, like we know how good it is. Now it may not be as good as it once was, because I feel like these archetypes and these support cards for the archetypes are so you know are so imbalanced and overpowered. You know what I'm saying? But I'm gonna save that for another video. But still, like, it's still a good playable game. It's enjoyable, and I would like other people, if other people are interested in learning about the game as an experienced player, it's my duty to make sure that you learn this game properly. You know, and it be whether it be advanced or or subvance, if that's even a word. But you know, but not only teaching them the obvious, but teaching them the not so obvious things that they, more than likely will easily overlook. Like pay attention to your rulings when you make a new build. Check the rulings on each of your cards, see if there's anything like if this goes up against this, or if this is chained to this, then this will happen, what have you, or chains itself, spell speeds, things of that nature. How to summon a monster, you know, how many times are you allowed to summon, a monster or what have you. Like basic things that are easily overlooked. Reading comprehension, pay attention to the card wording. When a card wording says can, that's optional. If it doesn't have that, that means it's not optional. You know what I'm saying? Like things like that, that you can just let them know. Just give them some pointers. And I'm not talking about those joking pointers like, oh, well, if you don't know how to play the game, then you shouldn't play it. You had to learn the game. you had to learn the game, so why can't they learn it? Like, why would you just turn them away from the game like that? I don't know. It's really just an anomaly to me how people will how people will sit on knowledge and make fun of the people who don't know as much as them, but yet you have the knowledge to make sure that they know enough to where they'll be able to continue to learn about the game. So, you know, that's basically my little issue with pros. I'm pretty sure you guys have your, you know, stories about like the pros or whatever you, or the people that have considered themselves to be pros and such. Please feel free to speak about it in the comments. I will be making replies to anybody who has any questions or what have you. Or like you guys can inbox me questions on this, that, and the third, and I can do like a video discussion on it or like a tips video on it. Just to let you guys know what's happening, and like we're just gonna keep this ball rolling. And that being said, you know, this is Yu-Gi-Oh. It's a trading card game. If you claim to know as much as you know, don't make fun of somebody for not knowing as much as you do, because they might not have had as much time or the proper training per se to understand the game on a level that you do. So just try to spread the knowledge, proper knowledge. Don't teach them stupid things like, oh, you know, like don't don't purposely mislead people on the rulings and things on how to play this game. Like that's pretty much all I can ask from these quote unquote pros that know so much. You know, I just think out of all the people that should leave the game, it's the pros that need to leave. If anybody were to leave, like those need to be the first wave of people to just leave, just go and leave the experienced players, as I consider myself to be, to man, to help the new people coming in, and like just trying to train them properly on the rulings and such, on how this game's supposed to work. So I'm gonna end the video here. If you guys have any stories about any like pros or any of these negative individuals that have tried to you know like do whatever to you in Yu-Gi-Oh or what have you, or if they try to like trick you in a duel, you know like like uh like these pros have been known to do, you know just feel free to leave a comment underneath, and like just tell me about those experience. The sun's coming out, but yeah, that's gonna be it for this discussion video. As always, these videos are just meant to open up discussion within the Yu-Gi-Oh community, just so we can have some discussion amongst ourselves. And yeah, I'll see you guys for the next Yu-Gi-Oh! 101 video. Peace.